just talked a little bit about stance. Now we want to talk about what you do after you get in that stance. You got to have a direction to go. First thing I want to talk about is your run footwork. And you want to break it down to, like we did on stance, you want to break it down to each specific step that you're going to take to perform that block. You want to coach guys in a progression. You don't want to just say, hey, move that guy across from you, move him 5 yards. Well, if you got bigger and stronger players, you're a great coach. But if you have equal or lesser players, they better be great technicians. And so you want to break it down and teach in a progression every time you talk about steps. And so here when we talk about offensive line steps, we already talked about stance and your footwork. If this is your inside foot and that's your outside foot, football's inside here. You want to talk about all the different steps your guys are going to have to take in a run progression. The first step or the first block we talk about here is a drive block. And that is one-on-one. I'm the offensive man, he's the defensive man. I want to take him off the ball. This is a play that's going to run right behind you. There's no cutback or misdirection or anything like that, or I am going to drive block that man right off the line of scrimmage. Usually it would talk about in your stagger, stepping with your outside foot. You're already in a stagger, it's going to be hard to step with your inside foot straight ahead. You're going to get overextended. So we would talk about gaining some ground on this man on the defensive side of the ball. You want to gain a 6-inch step. Now obviously these drawings are a little bit, aren't to scale, but you get an idea of you never want to be overextended as an offensive lineman, because when I overstride, I stand up, and everything in the game of offensive line is leverage. So I want to be underneath that defensive man as much as I possibly can. So if I'm going to take a drive step or drive block this defensive man across from me, I'm going to step with my right or my outside foot here if I'm a right guard or right tackle. So if I'm going to step with my right foot, I'm going to squeeze all my toes in my inside foot, my left foot right now. And that's just kind of a trick to the trade where you talk about not having any wasted movement. I'm going to step straight ahead. If I were to tell him to just go ahead and step with your right foot, a lot of people would take a gather step with their left and then step with their right. But I'm wasting time. And as I waste time, he's moving. So we don't want to make any wasted movements. So I'm going to squeeze all the toes in my shoe. You can talk to your guys about grabbing the grass with their toes, giving them little coaching buzzwords, things that they can think about when you're teaching them your run progression. So as I take this first drive step, I want it 6 inches. I don't want to overstride it because that'll make sure I get defeated because I'm standing straight up. So I want to be low, strike through the man, take a good 6-inch step to gain ground on the defender. Okay, you want to see what you're going to hit. Now it's crucial in teaching youth, Pop Warner level, high school level, whatever level it is, teaching introductory offensive line play that you talk about good body position. You don't want guys standing up. You don't want them hitting with the crown of their head. Last thing you want is to have your guy get injured. Now, it's the nature of the game. It's a violent game out there. But please, if you're coaching guys for the first time, talk to them about seeing what they hit. Offense and defensive line play, it's physical. Their big bodies moving. It's, it can get, pretty violent in there, but you want to talk about having good body position. You always want to see what you hit. You want to have your guys see through their face mask, see through the, looking up through their helmet, through their face mask to see what they hit. So please stress that enough to your guys about being safe in contact. 6-inch step, you want to gain ground, squeezing your inside foot, driving straight ahead. As you're making that first step, your hands should not wind up. You want to have your hands, so if my right hand is on the ground, I want to take my hands, bang, and go straight to the defender, okay, on your drive block, on your drive progression. Hands probably won't make contact until you get your second step in the ground. So I've taken my first step here. My second step will be with my inside foot. I've now gained 12 inches. I've gained 12 inches on the defender, okay? Usually that's where you're going to get your contact, hopefully on your second step. 2 steps. You want to get into the man, and now I talk to my guys all day. The man who gets his third step in the ground is the one who wins the line of scrimmage. Because if this defender is taking 1-2 steps, there's going to be a stalemate. There's going to be a stalemate between 2 men that aren't trying to get body position on either side. You want to go straight down the middle of them as your aiming point. There's going to be a stalemate. You want to get your third step into the ground. That is proven to be the first guy that gets their third step in the ground is going to win the line of scrimmage.